Hi and welcome to day 22 of the Dry Jam Plan. Hope you're having a good day. Today I want to talk about telling your friends that you're not drinking. Now, I don't know if some of you have put yourself in social situations and had to have awkward conversations, or maybe your conversations have been easy and your friends are very supportive. But some people, friends included, or even family members, come to that when you're in a social situation and you are not drinking. It brings up a lot of questions, I should say. I think when you've been a regular drinker and you're not drinking and you don't tell anybody, they become, some people will notice. Some people will notice this far now into January, we're only coming up to the last week. People will notice physically whether or not, they won't know it's due to not drinking, but they may well physically notice, because often we get quite puffy around our face due to our body's being dehydrated. It hangs on to water, so we can get quite puffy in our face and our eyes are quite dull, and it is quite calorific, so we can shed a few pounds if we stop drinking for the month. But some people turn to other things to satisfy that need for alcohol, like in my case, sugar. But they might know that there's something not quite right. Plus, if you've not been drinking, you've probably been asked the question, why aren't you drinking? And you might have had a dig in the ribs saying, oh, come on, don't be so boring, have a drink. But maybe you've not socialised yet. Maybe you are worried about what your friends or family will think about you not drinking, because you've always been this, bouncy person that's always been full of the joys of spring when you've been having a drink and your life and soul of the party. And once your friends know that you're not drinking, they'll think you've been boring. And, I think your friends probably think that they're losing like you. You're the drinking you, which obviously they are. But people get scared then that you'll judge them sometimes, because if you've stopped drinking, because maybe you've told them that you're drinking far too much and that you need to cut back, that is sort of shining a light on their drinking then, and they think, oh, well, Carol stopped drinking. I drink just as much as Carol. Maybe there's something wrong with me because maybe I need to stop drinking. Maybe I drink too much. And that makes them feel judged, makes them feel uncomfortable. And it just sparks some conversations. And that's why there's that cajoling into, oh, come on, don't be boring, have another, or have one. If you've been abstaining completely, if you've been moderating or just had one or two when you've gone out, there's that need to be part of the group. Because when you stop drinking, you sort of set yourself apart from your friends or family members that you normally drink with. And as humans, we find that quite difficult, because as humans, we like community. We like to be part of a group. And when we set ourselves apart, it makes other people feel a little bit uncomfortable. And it's really interesting, because if you tell your friends that you are taking a break, it's Dry January, and some of them might be like, no, Carol, just have one. Come on, just have one. And it's interesting, because if you said to them you'd given up smoking, they wouldn't be digging you in the ribs saying, oh, come on, just have one cigarette, come outside and have a cigarette with me. That, because we know that in society, when smoking was stopped in pubs and bars and restaurants and things, we know that it causes cancer. So it's now being widely accepted that smoking isn't good for you. But on the drinking side and the alcohol side, a lot of people are not aware that it's a class 1 carcinogen that is directly linked with 7 different cancers. People are still waking up to, the fact that it is an addictive substance like cigarettes with nicotine. And it's hard for people to wrap their heads around it because we live in a society that's just, drinking is just normal. It's just something you do. And people will say, oh, you haven't got a problem. And they might use that word alcoholic. But we wouldn't say to somebody that's, having a cigarette, we wouldn't call them a cigaretteaholic, or we wouldn't call somebody who was like addicted to sugar a sugaraholic. I mean, we have the word chocoholic, but that's just, light-hearted banter often. But we ban this word alcoholic around as if it's some bad thing. And if you're addicted to cigarettes, it's the nicotine that is the bad thing. That's what you're addicted to. The addiction is the actual cigarette. Whereas if you have an addiction to alcohol, however that addiction looks, I mean, I don't like to use the word addiction. I like to use the word reliant, or, a habitual behaviour around alcohol. It's not seen that it's alcohol that's the addictive substance. You're seen as a weak person because you can't control your drinking, and that makes it very much a taboo subject, makes it quite shameful to some people if they feel that they rely on that drinking, at the end of the day to chill and relax. And it's not often discussed because of the, shame around it, because people might label you as an alcoholic. I mean, addiction, there's addiction in, shopping, in caffeine, sugar, gambling, pornography, alcohol, but addiction varies widely. And I like to call it, and it's a word, grey area drinking, where we feel the need to have a drink and rely on the drink at the end of the day. But we wouldn't call ourselves addicted to it, when really we are, in a way. And that took me a while to get my head around. I had an issue with drinking at the end of the day, and it was a habitual pattern and a behaviour, but I needed that drink. I thought I needed that drink to chill out. So if you think you need something, you're reliant on it. So it's hard with discussing it with your friends sometimes, because they think that it's going to change you. And if you carry on through into February, March, and you carry on not drinking, they'll realise that it's still you. It's just that alcohol isn't a part of you at that moment in time. And will realise that you're still the fun person that you were before. You can still go out and have a laugh and a joke and still enjoy yourself. And you're the one that's getting up the following morning, not feeling hungover, being clear-headed, able to get on with your day, when maybe your peers that you've been out with are getting up on Saturday morning and completely losing their weekend because all they're doing is drinking. So don't be frightened to stand up and say, I'm not drinking. And if they say anything, it's not about you. It's often they've got fears around how it's going to change you, even in this short term, even if it's just a month that you're taking off. And you might judge them and think bad of them because they're still drinking, because that's what we do. And it's a bit of a defensive mechanism, really, I suppose. So have a bit of fun around it. If you've not spoken to your friends about you not drinking, or you've not been out in a social outing or an event, and you've got one coming up, then don't stress about it. Make a bit of fun of it. Just if they say, oh, what are you drinking, Carol? And I might say, oh, I'll have an elderflower pressé or something, or, a low alcohol beer or a non-alcoholic cider or something. And then they say, oh, what's this? You're not drinking. Just be flippant about it and say, do you know what? I've got addicted to non-alcoholic cider. I absolutely love it. And I'm just having that at the minute. And just make a joke. Or you could say, crumbs, I drank that much over Christmas and New Year that I am just taking a break because I think I drunk enough for the past 3 months, I think. I had more than my fill. Excuse me, my husband just came in then, if you heard the door. I didn't put my tag on the door. I always put my tag on the door when I'm recording, and I didn't put my tag on the door. So yeah, just make light of it, just make fun of it, and if they continue to persist, just completely change the subject and just say, how's work going? How are the kids? How was your Christmas? How was your New Year? And just completely change the subject, because it's really difficult for them to turn that back around to, are you going to have a drink or not, if you completely change the subject. So hope that was helpful. And if you are going out socialising, in the last sort of week or so of dry January, just prepare yourself and plan, and just listen back to some of the other short episodes that I've done around socialising. I can't remember what day it was, but I'll give you some tips and techniques on how to and I'll catch you again tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye.